Welcome to King of Catan episode 10. My name is Treeckosaurus. I'm the creator and host of King of Catan, and for this episode we have the semi-final between the best Rhett, Renats, Grooovyali and myself. And today I'm also joined by the first Queen of Catan and one of the very few players in the tournament with a higher win percentage than me. Thank you for joining us, Yumelory.
Thank you for the introduction. I'm very happy to be here to comment the video. I don't know if I still have a bigger win percentage as of right now, but I'm trying my best.
Yeah, it's my win percentage is pretty stable because I have a very many games played, so I think it is. We have the board before us, and I've played it myself. I see a lot of ore at the top, and also the wheat at the bottom and the west part of the map. What are your thoughts on this board so far?
What immediately jumps out to me is the cluster of ore at the top on the left. What I also notice is that the wood is relatively low, although people should be able to get a good portion of wood from the 5 and the 10. The brick is pretty low, so the wood is even less valuable than it would have been. I also see the wheat is pretty strong, so that would not necessarily be a priority in getting on the first settlement. It depends. Well, I personally think I would go for the 2, 4, 6 if I was first. And the reason for that is that I think there are a lot of settlements I could get on my second pick that would go well with this spot, the 2, 4, 6. As I would have the ore and the wheat to go with some sheep that I should be able to get at the 6 or at the 8.
Okay.
And I would also not be looking for this combo of wheat and ore necessarily, as I don't see any other way of getting ore and wheat at the same time on the board. And also, I think these 5, 8, 10 and 6, 10, 9 would be most probably taken by the time I would get to them as a first players there.
Yeah, I think so as well.
Yes, I am actually looking at the top, at the 8, 3, 4, 8, 3, 10, even 10, 8 or 8, 4 would go pretty well with 6, 4, 2, and they would also have a pretty good diversity of numbers. So that's why this one catches my eye, although it's not the best ore available, but it would be a pretty good ore. It also has a pretty good port option, so that would be my choice.
Okay.
But let's see what other people think.
I think we have a different point of view on what, like, I value just getting resources come to me, like having numbers that roll a lot, and I think if I understand you correctly that you value having all the resources so you can have a more natural game plan.
I would place a lot of value on the numbers rather than the resources and I think I should explain this a little bit.
Okay.
Not necessarily having all resources, as I'm not valuing the 10 wood that much, and neither do I value the 2, which will honestly not probably come, it won't probably come up that much. But I do value a good number diversity. And if the numbers are skewed, as they can be with Catan, that would be a disadvantage if somebody is on both numbers that are rolled or on the number that is rolled 2 times. That is an advantage, but I do tend to go for a more balanced.
Okay. Yeah, when I look at this board, I immediately see there's a lot of spots where you can get wheat and sheep together. And there's also the 5, 9, 10 at the top, where you can get a lot of ore. And ore is, on this board, it's very clustered. So that means that there won't be, some players will be locked out of ore. And when you have a lot of ore at a certain point in the game, players will start looking for it by making trades, and then you can actually get really, really good trades out of that. Also, I think the 8-5-10, the 6-9-10, and the 5-9-10 are really, really strong spots because you get a lot of production out of that. And I assume a lot of trades will happen because of the well, it's a pretty awkward board. Like all the wheat is at the bottom at the stuff, and the ore is all with each other. Brick is all nearby each other. So some resources will be lacking for certain players, and that will mean they will look for trades more. And then I think having one of these resources as a, well, not the card monopoly, but having a monopoly on that certain resource will create a trade advantage for you that makes me believe the 5-9-10 is the first pick to take.
That is certainly a strong spot.
Yeah.
I usually like to think what would go well with it, and that's true that there is the 6 and the 8 that should be at least partially available at the end of the picking cycle. But we'll have to see what the others thought about these places also.
Yeah, because I can remember, because like we just saw the best Rhett picking his first settlement with the 6-4-3, so that's a bit off at the spot you would take. Let's have a look if I actually agree with my current line. So I'm picking second here. The game has been played a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not sure what I picked here and what are the plays, but I'm quite certain I didn't pick the 5-9-10. I think the reasoning for that is something you said as well. Look at the stuff that goes along with that, and if you take the 5-9-10, are you sure to get like even a wheat sheep combination with that? Can you get some decent brick, or will you be locked out of wheat? I think that was the reasoning for me to not pick the 5-9-10. I'm hovering over some numbers like the 3-9-10. Okay, I assume I'm gonna go for either the 8-5-10 or the 6-9. Okay, yeah.
Yes, I think this was the smart choice.
Yeah, I'm looking if I could get the 8-3. The 8-3 I think will be key because I do think the wheat has a lot of strong numbers, but because it's like at the coast of the map, it will be picked less because you're not really set to have all the wheats to go with, well, other good numbers. Renats is going up next, and he has to take into account what Grooovyali is going to pick here. There's still a couple of spots left. What would you do in this situation?
In this situation, I would. I know that the advice is usually to take the rarest resource, which is not necessary. On this board, it's not ore. It's not wheat either, but it has become a little bit rare. I mean the wheat, since 2 players already placed on the wheats and kind of locked them out. Maybe the 8-3 is not locked out, but that would be a pretty terrible hint. So I am honestly looking at the 9-6-10 because Grooovyali will not just go ham on the ore. You should at least be able to place on the 5-9-2, 10-9-5, 9-4-11, which are also pretty good diversity. Maybe the 5-9-10 would not be that good of a diversity of numbers, but the 4-9-11 gives you a little bit of brick too, which would go well with the 6-10-9. So you should be able to get some ore. It's not a priority in this case, so I would go for the 10-6-9, yes, and then point my road to... I'm not very sure. I think I would point it to the 3-1 port. I don't see Grooovyali placing there, and nobody else will. So I would confidently place my road towards the 3-1 port.
Okay, yeah, I completely agree with everything you've said. A spot I was also looking at is the 10-3-8 as a solid pick, but then you would give Grooovyali 5-9-10 plus 6-9-10 or 6-9-10 to go with 4-9-11. So that's not something you want to do probably. But the reasoning why I thought it might also be a strong spot is because you and the same could be said for the 4-5-11 is because brick and lumber at this board are pretty rare. So you might be the only player competing for road where the other players are all competing for army.
Yes, exactly.
But I agree with you. I would have gone for the 6-9-10 as well.
Doesn't go for the 10-6-9. Maybe he was not that sure about taking the board. Although he should have been sure about that, in my opinion. Groovyyali would not have gone there.
Yeah, I think this 6-9-10 just gives you 2 more points of production, and you can just guarantee a really strong or wheat sheep, or at least decent wheat, but sheep and ore will be really, really strong. And a wheat is probably not a hex that will be blocked. I think that would have been better. But the 6-9...
Sorry.
Okay, yeah. The 6-9-12 does give you, well, that extra point of lumber that might be worth it, but let's see what how the other plays will work out.
Another thing I wanted to bring up is that actually, even if you would think that Groovyyali would take the 9-12 with the port, I think she would most definitely rather go for the 6-2 on the left side, since it's the exact same situation, but with one more point of production with the 6. So I think this was a little bit this is a little bit of a shady placement.
So let's see what Groovyyali will decide to do. I know, well, like we were in the voice chat, and I know there wasn't much table talk going on during the placements itself. It was pretty quiet. Everyone just did their thing and let's go. But during the game, players were actually making some whoa. I think Groovyyali decided to go for strong or wheat sheep and wanted to have, I think this is the only wheat sheep spot at the map left, and if you would combine that with the 5-9-10 or the 4-9-11.
Honestly, 5-9-10 is not the best choice since it only gives you 3 numbers.
Yeah.
Some players do not mind that.
Yeah, I don't necessarily always mind it. I do agree with you that having diversity creates a better strategy. But in the case when you have ore on 9 and wheat on 9, when it rolls, you can do something immediately. And I think that's really strong, especially with the robber being a part of the game. Yeah, I don't necessarily dislike going with ore and wheat on the same numbers, or brick or lumber at the same numbers. But I do agree with you with 5-9-10 as the only numbers that's a bit shaky. So she also got a road to the west. I think I would have pointed my road to the right because there's still a direct spot open. You do assume Groovyyali is gonna go for ore, so the ore port might be a consideration. Okay, she decided to go for the 4-5-11, which gives her all 5 resources and diversity in numbers. But I think you also leave open really, really good spots for both me and Renat.
I think nobody hoped for the 9-5-10 to actually still be open, but it is.
Yeah.
And now Renats can get it.
If he gets the 5-9-10, I could get the 9-3-11 or the 9-4-2. So
there is no reason why you wouldn't go for the 9-4-2.
So Rennes decided to go for the 9-3-10, and I know there was a reasoning to not go for the 5-9-10 here to make me have, not have the 9-3-11. So I would get all 5 resources.
We also see he wants to go, I think, he would want to go for the wood port.
Yeah, I would have. Yeah, I think I would have. Although getting that extra ore is relevant in this game for sure, especially if you look at this. But I also think, yeah, maybe if you get the 3-to-1 port. Okay, so I'm going to select the 592. So I think I I have really good ore, really good wheat, and decent sheep. So I think I like my strategy in this game.
You also have good port potential.
Yeah, and also the 3A to go with that, because I assume the best red isn't going to take the A3 when he already doubled up on wheat. I think he's looking for sheep. So I think I really like the best red's placements, because now he is contesting me for development card strategy. This 3 points of lumber with the lumber port makes him have a very versatile game in the terms that he could convert his lumber into ore to get cities and development cards, but he could also take it to brick to get a road game, and he could potentially sneak up both at the same time. So that really gives him a strategy to win it. For Renats and Grooovyali, a quick start needs to go right, I think, to win this game.
I also, after thinking about it a bit, I also like what the best red did with taking the port instead of going for the 3-4-8, since if a 7 was rolled, he would definitely be the target at the beginning of the game, and now he's not, since he doesn't have brick immediately.
I agree with you. Although I do think I think it's correct to go on the 10-8. I wonder if Renats pointed his road towards the lumber port, would it have been the same? Because then you probably don't have the option to go for the 8-3-4 because Renats picked up a free road with a second settlement.
But I don't think going for the 8-3-4 and then going for the port, the 3-to-1 port would have been that terrible. I don't see that lumber being that important in the game. Maybe doubling on the 8 would have been nice.
Okay, we start off with a 5 being rolled, so that's immediately double beneficial for me. So that gives ore and lumber, and also an 8 being rolled. So I'm already really close to a city.
I don't think anybody has. Oh, Grooovyali does have a wheat.
Grooovyali. Oh, right, yeah. So I'm trying to get that wheat. I first tried to do the 1-for-1, and then I double up on the offer for if I could get it. I don't think this trade should go down, because giving, like, I picked up 2 ore from the start and also rolled a 5. So you shouldn't trade with me for sure. And also a 9 rolled. And Renats built his road towards the 5-10 to pick up as much ore as I. And if he gets it, he has a strong ore with cheap. A really strong ore with cheap.
Really strong, exactly.
So this first 7 being rolled by Grooovyali.
Okay.
And I was actually surprised to see that I didn't get robbed in this.
Maybe she was looking for a certain resource, as ore doesn't help you at this point in the game. She only has 1 ore.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, so now I'm trying to do like a 2-for-1 for wheat, but I don't have. Well, the trade might go down because Grooovyali has 2 wheats. But I also have the possibility to pick up a lumber. So I could do a 4-to-1 trade for wheat, so that would give me a city as well. Although I'm not sure whether getting a city right now is the best decision, because that would put a lot of targets on me. So now I'm trying to get ore for a lumber, because a 4-to-1 trade on ore would also work. And I figured, like something like you said, ore at the start of the game doesn't help you expand. So Okay, I am trying to making the 4-1 trade to get below 7 resources.
A death card could have been nice to mitigate the risk of getting hit by the rubber.
Yeah.
So maybe you could have gotten road building. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. That would have been really strong. But also getting a city up early is, especially with the spots I have, like 8, 5, 10 and 5, 9, 2, it's like really, really strong spots to build a city on. So Grooovyali is trying to get wheat here, if I'm not mistaken, for ore, and she was offering ore. So I think I should accept this.
Or only ore.
But she picked up wheat earlier, so I assume she's going to do a 4-1 trade. Or did she actually like the wheat to build the settlement? Oh, right, she can do the 2-for-1. Ah. Yeah, with the 10-9 she picked up the wheat board. And now she expands to the 6-11.
People should have a lot of wheat this game, so maybe her wheat board will be fruitful for her.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think I should block
Rhett.
Yeah, for sure. Because he is also doing the Orvi cheap.
Right now I don't agree with your pick for upgrading, since you get a ton of ore. You have 8 points of ore. I would have upgraded the 5, 8, 10 to up your wheat and sheep production. And then as you move on, I think you can easily upgrade the 5, 9.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, I'm not sure why I did it at the moment I did it. That made perfect sense, but right now looking back, the 8, 5, 10 would have been a better one. Maybe because I thought the ore would be blocked, but then it still doesn't really make sense to go for it. Right. I know why I didn't upgrade the 8, 5, 10, because if my wheat gets blocked, I'm out of all of my options, unless I make 4-1 trades. And if I upgrade my 592, then the robber will be on either the 9 or the 5. And then I still have the other ore open, so I can get development cards and get it off. The 8, 5, 10 is probably a better upgrade for sure. But that was my reasoning for upgrading the 592 in this case.
Yeah, another thing is that I think if other players would want to block you and Red at the same time, since you are the Army City players, I think they would block you at 9 or at 5, although the 9 is juicier with 2 cities. I don't think they would single you out with the 8, although you would need the 8. So I think the 9 would be the spot to block for other players if they wanted to block both of you, since otherwise you don't share any tiles.
So a 3 being rolled, so that gives brick to Renats and wheat to the best red. So even more wheat for the best red, because also a 6 rolled. That also puts a sheep in the game. I wonder what the best red's first move will be, because he has the versatility with the lumber board. He could either go for road to the 834 or go for a city at the I think the 643.
I would rather go for the 348 to up the production in the first place and then think about the port.
So I rolled the 7 and I decided to drop Renats in this case.
You also don't want to allow other players to run away with the game, but you have to go for the strongest outwards there.
Sure. Okay. So this was an interesting decision for me. Do I go for the 3-1 port with the 5 ore here, or do I collect more wheat? And I decided to go for the 3-1 port.
I think this was the best decision. You really need a port. to be able to do things yourself and be independent.
So the best red decided to block the 5 instead of the 9. And I made a comment on that, hey, why don't you block the 9? Then you have 2, then you get 2 targets. But
Yes, I would have blocked the 9.
But maybe this way you're forcing one player to get development cards and then start using it. There might be a merit to it. I would have blocked the 9 here, I think, as well. So I'm now looking to get it unblocked by getting sheep. So there is a lot of sheep in the game because the numbers have been rolled. So I don't have any break and I don't have 2 weeds either. So these trades won't go down. I'm not sure whether.
But I don't think any tens have rolled, so maybe for wood, but we'll see.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like they're really looking for it. Maybe I'm re-proposing this trade, but otherwise we won't know. Like I'm trying to get a 1-for-1 here. No, I'm not trying to lose my wheat. I need this wheat for sure. I think I figured that nobody's really trying to build a city right now. No, I'm actually offering the 2-for-1. Surprises me, not proposing the 1-for-1 first with the lumber.
Yeah, you should have tried at least.
Doesn't seem like the trade is going down. Unless the best red has offers. No. Okay. Pass up the turn, so Renats move. And he rolls an 8. And there's also another 3. So this is the second 3 roll in 2 orbits.
Yeah, that city has really paid off.
I think Renats is close to getting a settlement on a 5-10. What would he lack? Lumber?
Probably, since there were no tens that I remember. So you should ask for a pretty price for wood if there is the occasion.
I'm not really sure even if I even would accept a really high price for trading with Renat in this case, because I would give up my ore dominance.
Yes, that's true, but also you have to remember that Grooovyali has been getting all the woods you have, so she would probably give it to him for 3 cards, so you could accept 2.
Yeah. So Grooovyali is able to get a road, trying to go to the ore port. I'm not sure whether that ore port is really gonna do anything, because if you have ore, you probably want to use it for cities.
Yes, but the 8 would be a really nice production point for her wheat port.
Oh, yeah, right, for sure. So the best red is looking for brick.
Let's see if red is willing to give it up.
Yeah, because this 3 rolled, so he has at least 2 of them. So I do assume here a trade offer is going to be made. It doesn't seem like the best red is going to accept it, but always try to get the best of it. But the best red decides, okay, I can get.
So let's see where he builds.
Yeah, is he able to build? Okay, he is able to build a road for sure, and a development card.
That was a pretty good turn for him.
Yeah, for sure.
He should easily get those 2 from the 6 and the 8.
That's a fair point.
And finally a 10.
Yeah,
Although that's no good for you.
So Renats is trying to get wheat here. So that must be the resource he is lacking, because we know he picked up 2 lumber and break earlier. And he is offering sheep here, so he probably has enough sheep as well.
I think no 9s have been rolled lately. Green should have some wheat. So hopefully green doesn't do anything crazy and just give. He does. I wouldn't call it crazy, but at least extract 3 cards.
Yeah, something I made a comment on in the game and that I was relieved Renats didn't do. Renats had the possibility to build 2 roads and build a settlement on the 5 or with the 3-1 port. That would have really put me in a bad situation, because it's really difficult for me to get roads because I don't gain any brick. And also because Renats would get the 3-1 port and more ore than I do. I think he could have put himself in the best spot here by recognizing that he could build on the 5 ore.
Yes, I think maybe he didn't think about it, since I think this is the superior play, locking you out of the 3-1 port.
Yeah, we talked about it later on in the game, and yeah, he just he didn't recognize it, and he would have liked to have done it differently. So another 8 rolled. So let's see if Grooovyali is able to get another road to the. No, she isn't.
The freeze have really been helping Renats.
Yeah, And they will also have the best rat from now on, because he was able to build the settlement on the A34 as
That's really strong.
rolled a lucky 7, which will free off my 5 ore, which I will need for more cities and development cards.
I think the play here is to get 2 development cards.
Yeah, I'm first gonna try to get a brick, because that would give me a settlement at the 3-1 port. There's also still the option to get both a settlement and a development card. I think that would be the ideal play in this case, but Renat's looking for lumber, so that wouldn't. It would still be a fine trade for me, I think. Let's see if it goes down. Oh, he also is looking for wheat. Maybe he's just looking for 2 cards, so I'm also proposing this offer. Yeah, this way I would be able to get settlement and a development card. So if Renat is just looking for 2 cards instead of especially lumber, this wouldn't give me the development card. Okay, so we made an agreement in the voice chat, and now I'm able to build the settlement. I assume if someone robs, it will be the 5 ore or the 9 ore, so that would affect both of us.
It should be the 9, although it depends how much of a threat they would think you are.
That's yeah, like on paper you would just say the 9 ore, but if you really think I'm in the best spot, then the 5 ore is also a consideration, because the 5 does give that borderline of 3 ores at the same time, which is pretty strong. So now for sure I'm at the spot that I should get development cards instead of cities, I think. Or maybe the city at 8-5-10 just makes me this hard to beat, especially with the 3-1 board, that I don't even need to care about development cards.
I wouldn't go for cities, since that would make you, I think, psychologically more of a threat than red. And so I would rather go for a development card, although I don't think it will be possible, although maybe green will trade you with the 8. But I'll go for development cards to mitigate the threat factor.
Okay, so Grooovyali would accept the 2-for-1 here, because okay, and the best threat as well. I don't have break, unfortunately, so I can't. Oh, he is actually offering a 2-for-2 here, so this gives me options. And I know I'm here targeting in the chat. Okay, you can get a break pretty easily. Let's just make it a 2-for-2 with wheat and lumber. And I know this one was accepted. Oh, that's really interesting.
Have picked Groovyyali's offer.
Yeah, Groovyyali is less of a threat, but I was also looking at the psychological standpoint of this, is that if I come true to my word, I'll be more trustworthy in this game. I think that is something that's valued by Groovyyali, and the best threat is something that I picked up during the voice chat. So that's why I... Oh, okay, skip that idea, I'm gonna trade with Groovyyali. Okay. Let's see what I pick up with the first development card. It's going to be a knight, so...
That's good.
And a victory point. I think this is an ideal combination at this point. Well, double monopoly would have been ideal, but...
You stole the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good combination.
And it's not like one of my hexes is blocked, it's just this 9 wheat, so I can just keep on building with the... Like now, at this point in the game, I can just get a city at the 8-5-10 without any worries.
I still don't think you should so openly announce yourself as a threat. When other players collaborate in playing against you, it can be really crippling, and you can actually lose to a much weaker player. So I wouldn't go, I wouldn't necessarily immediately go for upgrading the 5-8-10. Maybe another development card, another knight, and then try to go for it.
Yeah, That's pretty interesting. That could be correct. Let's let's look what I decided back then. At this point, I'd say just upgrading is fine. I don't really see like when I get the city there, that will be my 6th point. I'll try to get as many development cards as possible, and with the protection of the knight, I think I can keep my wheat open. That should give me 8, and if I get this many development cards, I'll probably pick up a victory point as well and be able to build a city on 5 ore. Or maybe
That was an exceptional trade for you.
Yeah, that was a really, really good trade for me.
I guess he really wanted to build.
I gave up a lumber, right? Yeah, I'm not sure, but
He doesn't have. So I think that might have been beneficial to him too, since he doesn't get wood at all.
yeah, he gets it at the 10, but not that much indeed. And he wants to use it at multiple ways.
That's what I said. I didn't see the 10. It was rolled so little that I forgot about it.
3-to-1 port will be pretty good for him, especially because he picks up these brick as well. If the 3 and the 4 roll a little bit, then it's not a bad spot for the best red, but okay, so I pick up a 2nd knight.
Other players should from now on see you as a threat. I don't know if that will be the case.
I think they already did that, but they didn't roll a 7 or didn't have the knight on a hex they are blocked on. The best red does have the possibility to use a knight, I assume. I'm not sure what development cards he has in hand, but that would also now mean that if he uses his development cards, I target it immediately back at him, so he only gets one roll out of that, so that's a really big advantage for me. So as the 2 roll, so I pick up even more lumber, which I can use for the 3-to-1 port probably. So Grooovyali will try to get settlement, and she lacks sheep. The best red does pick up a lot of sheep, so there might be something left. So for ore and for brick. And that brick will help the best red settle on the 3-to-1 port, and ore is always helpful at this point in the game. So I wonder if the best red is able to get another development card. Okay, it doesn't seem like it. There's another 5 rolled.
I was wondering actually about who will take road, since Grooovyali has 3, but that's not that much compared to the other 2 roads everybody has. I think the best red should be able to take it. Although Renats also has a lot of potential, since they are basically on the same tiles of wood and brick. Renats should have a lot of brick with the freeze, but later in the game that might not be the case. I see you are offering a 2-for-1 trade.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I went with the bank, so I could get a city at the 8-5-10.
I think this is the right move, since you have 2 knights.
Yeah, I have enough. Renats doesn't have a knight, it seems like. It's a year of plenty. So now he's able.
He does have a ton of wood, a ton of brick. He should go for road, in my opinion, maybe not so obviously, so other players don't block his wood or brick, but that would be the strategy for him, I think. He might be able to connect, although that's a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, I also don't think he necessarily needs to connect. Okay, he's deciding to go for the 12-11 instead of the 11 with the brick board. I would have gone for the brick board here, because the 12 doesn't do that much.
You can't be so sure the freeze will roll also later in the game, so you don't have the brick to fuel the port.
Yeah, that's also a fair point. So it really depends on what rolls. Like 12 and 3 you can't really rely on. Okay, so the best red rolled a 7, which he probably wasn't happy to see, because he has to hand in 4 cards as he decides to block the 5 ore. And I think this is the correct play. He recognizes that I am in the lead at the moment, and I should be blocked at my best position. It also might have been the 8 wheat, but this is fine. But I'm...
Yeah, so it's also good that now you are in the lead in the army game. Since you play the knight, he has now played knights, and you can match his knights when he plays them.
Exactly, so if I make sure to get the third knight, then I can guaranteed 2 victory points at a certain point in the game. So I'm foolishly offering a trade. So this is a mistake by me. I'm giving away information that I have lumber, which was pretty obvious since the 5 just rolled, but still at this point nobody is going to trade with me, so I'm only presenting them information. So another 7 rolled by Renats. Ooh. And now the 7 start rolling. I know Grooovyali was a bit frustrated at a certain point that the 7s didn't roll when her 9 wheat was blocked all the time. But she's able to get the lumber right now. So she does have the potential to pick up road, because she already has 3. And if an 11 rolls, then anything is possible for her to get road. As she's able to... I think out of all the players, she's able to connect them most easily.
I think, yes.
Yeah, it doesn't do that much because it doesn't generate you any spot that you can build a settlement on. But it does give you the potential to connect them. So the best red picked up another development card and still doesn't use any. So this either means...
That was a mistake. Not using a knight.
Yeah.
With 4 development cards and playing the development card game, you have to use the knight.
I agree.
And other players have already used.
But it could also mean that he has a lot of victory points, which is very unlikely because I now picked up a 2nd victory point. Okay, I can get another. So I picked up a knight, so this guarantees me being at 9 victory points right now. So I still have a settlement spot open. I like 3 resources from a city, so I'm at a really good spot of winning the game within 2 turns. So Renat just rolled a 4, so he's looking for ore, but I think I'm the only player right now having ore besides Renat, and he's probably not looking to trade with me at this point in the game. So I make the correct call not to try it because he won't trade with me. I could have, for example, tried... Wait, what? This actually happened? Okay. That's a mistake for sure. Renat shouldn't have made that trade. Maybe he didn't recognize that I had a victory point in my hand, but still that these could be any cards. That would be very fatal.
I think so his screen shows that you have 5 points, and he didn't think that you do have army and some points. So maybe he saw 5 points and he didn't see you as that much of a threat. But
yeah, like the only way for... Maybe he was looking at the only way for him to win, and that was probably getting a city right there. Kind of makes sense, because if he gets 1 more road, then he'll be at 8, and what knows what will happen. But yeah, looking at the reality, this will backfire. So let's see. The best red might be at 7 victory points right now, because we already know I have 2 in my hand, so there are at most 3 left. So let's see if he is able to use a development card in this turn. It doesn't seem like it. Okay. So I'm gonna lock up army. And if I can get a... Let's see where I will decide to drop. I think I dropped the best red. I don't consider Grooovyali as a threat right now. And Renat doesn't have any cards.
Taking from the best red, if you're looking to build a settlement on the 8-3, since he probably has stone and a brick, which don't help you.
Yeah.
But other people, I don't know what other people have. Like Grooovyali would have been the other target.
I think my reasoning behind it was that I considered the best red more of a threat than Grooovyali, and personally, I didn't see any way to lose except if like a miracle combination of development cards is going to be pulled out. And also I still had the possibility to build a city, so picking up ore isn't necessarily bad. But yeah, I agree with you for sure. And I'm quite certain that I didn't track the cards. There's the knight by the best Rhett. A little bit late to the party, but it still gets the job done as I lose my wheat. And at this point in the game I used the knight, so if there was still the possibility to monopoly, then it's still impossible. Yes, okay, he could have picked up ore, but then I still would have had the settlement in hand, and if he picked up another resource, then I would trade 4-1. Yeah, okay, if he picked up lumber or a wheat, or one of the 4 settlements cards and a 7 rolled, then, and I didn't pick up...
would have won on that round, but I still would have placed my bets on you.
Yeah, for sure. I know we're just talking about the game and stuff, so the best Rhett is gonna give it his all and get some development cards, trying to get the second place. The silver medal doesn't really make it in King of Catan because the tournament format is only favoring the winner. So the best Rhett passes up the turn as I roll an 8 and build the settlement. Treeckosaurus joins and Piccolo, Nuke X and Kinsey as the 4th semi-finalist in the grand final, and that grand final will come up fairly soon. Yumelory, thank you for hosting with me and talking about the game and sharing your insights. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the grand final, which will be uploaded soon as well to this channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, or don't subscribe if you don't want to. Yeah, and have a good day, and I hope to see you on the next one.